Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, MBC Lifestyles Diary. My name is Marie. I live in New York. And I love fashion, traveling, and cultural events, and I'm asking you to join me on the adventure. Today we're at the Brooklyn Museum going to the African fashion exhibit. It covers the different nations on the African continent. It gives you political history, cultural history, and how clothing can be worn as a political statement or a political protest. It's a wonderful exhibit, very thorough. I suggest you run over here and go see this exhibit. The decolonization of the African continent has been a centuries-long journey that witnessed dramatic upheavals in the political and socio-economic lives of hundreds of millions of people. During the second half of the 20th century, colonial governments, impaired by violence and widespread unrest, rapidly transitioned to becoming independent states. Referred to as the Year of Africa, 1960 was a turning point in which more than a dozen African countries would secure their independence. By the decade end, Africa had 48 independent nations. However, it would take another 3 decades before the entire continent would achieve emancipation from colonial rule. First World Festival of Black Arts, 1966. Took place in Dakar, Senegal in April 1966. The event celebrated African and Black creativity from all over the world. Over 3 weeks, 25,000 guests enjoyed a dynamic program of art, talks, dance, music, and theater. More than 2,500 renowned creatives from across Africa and the diaspora attended, including Wole Soyinka, Ibrahim El-Sahali, Duke Ellington, and Josephine Baker. This pioneering festival was funded by UNESCO and was followed by other events such as the first Pan-African Cultural Festival in Algiers, Algeria in 1969, the Zaire Music Festival in 1974, and the second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture in Lagos, Nigeria in 1977. 1960 was called the Year of Africa. This pride was reflected in their garments and textiles. Textiles are used as historical documents, commemoration pieces for events or people, even a political cause. Independence from colonial rule, revitalizing both a sense of pride in being African as well as a centuries-long history of creativity on the continent. This consciousness permeated literature, music, art, and fashion, and gave way to a vibrant cultural renaissance. Many designers and artists looked to their work to explore the relationship between newly independent nations on the African continent and a global north divided by the Cold War, which included Europe, Russia, and the United States, among others. Pan-Africanism played a pivotal role within independence movements on the continent. This cultural and political ideology fostered a new confidence that catalyzed a drive for political autonomy and was expressed through the creative arts. New presidents, such as Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana and Leopold Sédar Senghor in Senegal, saw art and culture as central to defining Africa's role in the global arena. Dynamic, creative scenes throughout the continent enable newly independent nations to showcase their modernity and cosmopolitanism to the rest of the world, with trailblazing fashions at the forefront. This exhibit was truly immersive. It had the political history behind it. It had beautiful crafted garments, and the music, the soundtrack was wonderful. It really brought joy and a vibrancy to the exhibit that I truly enjoyed, and I can see the other museum goers enjoying it also. The independence years gave rise to a strategic professionalization of the fashion and textile industries. New nations recognized fashion's power to solidify and project strong, independent, and modern identities to the world. Recognizing the economic potential of these sectors, governments across the continent introduced policies to encourage these industries to flourish. Fashion was fundamental to the decolonization of minds. Many turned to clothes as a powerful expression of newfound freedoms and choice, wearing garments made from local fabrics, a tailored three-piece suit, or something in between. The Cultural Renaissance generated a fashion boom, and brand name designers with clientele based around the world began to emerge. Designers in Africa, Europe, and beyond embraced this exchange, seeking inspiration and learning new skills through travel and migration. Here we celebrate a few of those pioneering designers from a rich fashion scene, including Alfadi, Kofi Anash, Naeem Benis, Chris Seydoux, and Sade Thomas Fahim, acknowledging that there are many more stories to be told. Sade Thomas Fahim studied fashion at St. Martin's School of Art, now Central St. Martin in London, originally moving to England in 1953 to train as a nurse. She returned home to Lagos in 1960, the year of Nigeria's independence, and quickly established her own boutique, Maison Sade, championing Nigerian fabrics and silhouettes. Thomas Fahim designed for the cosmopolitan working woman. Her boutique quickly became the go-to place for stylish people in Lagos, and her regular customers included diplomats and royalty. The desert scenes are by designer Al-Fahid, born in Timbuktu, Mali. He sees fashion as a vehicle for unity and prosperity. Like his own interconnectedness identities, the designer's Mauritian heritage and a Nigerian national, his designs celebrate the diverse beauty of the African continent. The jewelry was amazing, and there was a small sampling. It was beautiful to behold, and if they were selling any of these pieces, I don't know, I would have gone into debt for some of them. I've only mentioned two of my favorite designers from this exhibit, but there were many. As stated, this was a very large exhibit doing a cross exposure to many different nations on the continent of Africa, along with their different political purposes or symbolism. But it was beautifully constructed and wonderfully displayed. And the only thing I can do is please go see this. It's wonderful. It's many layers. So at first you're intrigued by the history, and then you just get caught up in the fashion and what these designers are saying and understanding how this has influenced our Western world. Africa Fashion is the largest ever presentation of the subject. More than 180 works, including standout pieces from the museum's collections. Organized thematically, This multisensory experience features immersive displays of haute couture and ready-to-wear apparel, as well as photographs, literature, sketches, music, film, and catwalk footage, textiles, and jewelry. More than 40 designers and artists from 20 African countries are represented, from the vanguards who first gained worldwide attention, such as Kofi Annan and Shady Thomas Vaughan, to the newest generation of cutting-edge creatives, such as Phoebe Magagu, South Africa, and Gulad Ahmed, Djibouti. Many of their works are on view for the first time in the United States. Home to one of the country's most dynamic African diasporic communities, Brooklyn is the perfect setting to explore Africa's many histories and cultures. Visitors can participate by sharing contemporary photos and short videos via social media, which may be featured on the Brooklyn Museum's channels. The reviews of the show have been wonderful, so here are some quotes. If there is one exhibit you've got to go to this summer, make it this one, from The Cut. Another quote by the New York Times: "This show is exquisitely beautiful, with textiles, accessories, and clothing that are surprising and curious." From Cultured, we have inspiring and deeply informative. To see this show, one needs to purchase special tickets. You can purchase them online. For senior citizen and students, the cost is $17 per ticket. People with disabilities can purchase a single ticket, and their caretaker is free. The normal price is $25 per person, but it's truly worth it, and it will be a great afternoon spent, and you will learn so much. I plan on going back because I was so wrapped up in the history, I didn't fully get to immerse myself in the beauty of the clothing, and I'd like to go back to just look at it visually. They also have a wonderful store at the end of the exhibit where you can purchase some really unique items, including some clothes. The Brooklyn Museum is open from Wednesday to Sunday. The hours are 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. First Saturdays, they are open 5 to 11 p.m. There's usually music going on and some kind of wonderful cultural activity, so I suggest you check that out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Truly appreciate it.